So have you ever felt that really frustrating gap? Like, you understand English perfectly fine, but then when it's your turn to speak, your mind just goes blank. Or maybe you're translating everything in your head, and it just slows you down, makes you feel, I don't know, less like you.
Yeah, that's a really common feeling.
Well, if that sounds familiar, you're exactly who we're talking to today. We're going to dive deep into why that happens.
And more importantly, how to break through it.
Exactly. Our mission today is to give you, well, a genuine shortcut to sounding more natural, connecting with people, and really expressing yourself in English, moving beyond just simple translation.
And that's really the heart of this deep dive, isn't it? We're going beyond just, vocabulary lists or grammar rules. Today is all about exploring what fluency truly means for you.
Okay.
And then giving you actionable strategies to tackle those common challenges, both internal and external. It's about shifting your mindset and building practical habits that can genuinely transform your English.
Okay, so let's unpack this whole fluency thing. When we talk about fluency, what are we really talking about?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people get hung up on speaking super fast or using like really complicated words. They think that's the goal.
Right. But our deep dive suggests it's actually quite different.
Doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, the research overwhelmingly points to fluency being about flow and comfort.
Flow and comfort. Okay.
Yeah, it's not about speed, not complexity.
Yeah.
It's about expressing your thoughts without that constant internal battle, being able to actually enjoy the conversation. And it's definitely not about sounding perfect or needing a specific accent like British or American. It's just about being understood.
And connected.
And connecting with the other person. That's the core.
Yeah. What I found really genuinely fascinating in our research was how our kind of traditional ideas about fluency can actually mislead us. The material really highlighted some, well, surprising things that truly fluent speakers do.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, pausing. Many learners think pausing means you're stuck, you don't know the word.
Right, like it's a failure.
Exactly. But what we found is that fluent speakers do pause, but it's not because they're searching for a word. It's because they're thinking, processing, structuring their thoughts. It's actually a sign of engagement, not a lack of language.
That's a great point.
And they also use really simple expressions, but with total confidence. And maybe the most important thing, they listen. Like really listen, and they respond with genuine emotion.
So this really boils down to, you just need to be understood. You need to connect. You need to have that flow. That's the real aim here.
Precisely.
Okay, now let me ask you this directly, thinking about our listener.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in that situation? You understand everything perfectly, but then bam, it's your turn to talk and your mind just clears. Total blank.
Happens all the time.
Or maybe you think of the perfect thing to say, but like 5 minutes after the conversation's finished?
Also, the delayed response? Yes.
Or you really wanted to jump into the chat, but you just stayed quiet instead. These things are incredibly common and so frustrating.
They really are. And this raises a crucial question. Why? Why does this happen so often? It's so important to get that it's not always just about the English itself. You're also fighting nerves, right?
Totally.
The fear of making mistakes, the pressure of that exact moment. So if we really want to engage, we need to shift our mindset, move away from battling those internal pressures.
Okay, so let's talk about that shift. A paradigm shift, maybe. Think about it. When we speak our native language, we're not constantly analyzing grammar, are we?
Not at all.
No, we're focusing on the person, on the connection, the energy. So here's a new goal for you listening right now. This is a key takeaway from our deep dive. Stop aiming for perfect English. Start aiming for meaningful conversations.
And what's so freeing about that is how it just lets you shed that self-consciousness.
Right.
It immediately points you towards authentic interaction. And that's exactly where real fluency starts to, blossom.
That reframing feels really powerful. It takes the focus off performance anxiety and puts it squarely on connection.
Exactly.
So how do we actually do that? Practically speaking, our deep dive had some really concrete strategies for this mindset shift, didn't it?
It did.
The first one, and this is, I think, huge, is learn expressions, not just single words.
Yes, this is key.
Like, don't just learn the word hungry. Learn how real people actually say it.
Right.
Things like, I could really use something to eat, or maybe I'm starving right now.
Or even just, do you feel like grabbing a bite?
Exactly. And the key is to add the emotion, the tone. Practice saying them like you mean it, with the right feeling behind it.
Practice the feeling too.
Yeah. Okay, the second tip. This one might sound a little bit strange at first, but it's incredibly powerful. Practice speaking alone.
Talking to yourself.
Yes. Talk to yourself. It's not crazy, I promise. You're actually training your fluency muscle. I mean, who hasn't narrated what they're doing while cooking?
Oh, definitely.
I find myself doing it all the time. Okay, chopping the onions now. Gonna fry them up. Where are you with the oil? Have you caught yourself doing this?
Absolutely. Maybe not cooking, but definitely describing things out loud sometimes. It might feel a bit odd initially, but it's so effective. I remember trying to explain a complicated idea out loud to myself once just to see if I could, and you immediately notice where the gaps are.
Right.
Or you could just describe your day out loud. Right. Went for a walk this morning. Weather was nice. Then it started raining. Typical. It just gets you comfortable forming sentences.
Builds that pathway in your brain. And the third tip from our dive, master the middle of conversations.
Yes. Important.
Most learners, they know how to say hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
But the real connection, the interesting stuff, the magic, as our source called it, happens in the middle.
That's where the relationship builds.
Exactly. So that's where we need to focus a lot of our practice.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay, so that's brilliant for getting comfortable speaking on your own. But how do we then take that internal work and make it work in real conversations so that responses become more fluid, almost automatic? This idea of muscle memory seems really important here.
It's absolutely crucial. Think about it like learning an instrument or a sport. You need that repetition. Breaking down everyday dialogues, repeating them, and importantly, shadowing them, copying the rhythm and emotion, helps you internalize those natural patterns.
Shadowing, okay.
Yeah. It's almost like programming your brain for fluency, making those common responses automatic so you're not consciously constructing every single sentence.
Okay, so let's give people a concrete example. Imagine you're at, say, a friend's housewarming party. Here's a little dialogue you can practice to build that muscle memory. I'll be Alex, you be Maya.
Feels good. Let's try it.
Hey, I don't think we've met. I'm Alex.
Hi, I'm Maya. Yeah, I just moved to the area.
Oh, cool. How are you finding it so far?
It's been good. Still getting used to everything,
Yeah, totally. I felt the same when I first moved here. You'll settle in soon.
See? Short, simple, natural.
Exactly. And repeating this kind of exchange, maybe switching roles.
Or changing the details slightly. What if Maya hates the area? How does the conversation change?
Right, that variation is key for building flexible muscle memory. You start to really internalize the flow, not just memorize lines.
You get the feel for it.
So, speaking of flow,
Right.
what does all this mean for how we actually sound? It's about sounding natural, right? Not robotic. English has its own kind of music.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. English has its own rhythm, its own melody, its flow. And a key part of sounding fluent is understanding that not all words are equal in a sentence. Some are strong, they carry the main meaning, and others are weak, they almost get swallowed up sometimes. And that's where the natural rhythm comes from. It's not about stressing every single syllable equally.
Okay, let me give some concrete examples from our sources. Try saying these out loud, maybe after me, focusing on the stressed words, feeling that music. I want to go to the cinema tonight.
Nice rhythm.
What are you up to this weekend?
Good one.
Do you want to grab some coffee?
Yeah, you can really hear it there.
See? You don't need to obsess over every tiny sound. Focus on the overall music of the sentence.
Let's try another quick set just to embed that rhythm of everyday chat. Real natural flow, like, hey, how's it going?
Simple start?
Pretty good. Just been working a lot.
Relatable.
Yeah. Same here. Looking forward to the weekend.
Right.
That's the kind of rhythm you hear all the time. And just being aware of it, consciously practicing it, makes a huge difference in how fluent you sound.
Definitely. And, as we pulled all these different threads together, the mindset, the practice, the rhythm, a really simple, but I think profound formula emerged from this source material. Kind of the secret sauce for fluency.
Yes, the formula.
Fluency, frequency plus fun.
Simple, right?
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Frequency plus fun.
It does. But its simplicity is actually its strength. And it leads us perfectly into a really practical, totally manageable 20-minute daily fluency habit, something you can start like tomorrow.
Okay, 20 minutes a day. I like the sound of that. Break it down for you.
Right. So 5 minutes of shadowing. That's listening to native speakers, maybe on YouTube, maybe this deep dive right here, and immediately trying to copy their rhythm, their intonation, their pronunciation.
Got it. 5 minutes shadowing.
Then 5 minutes just speaking about your day out loud to yourself. Doesn't matter what you say, just get the words flowing.
Okay, narrating your life again.
Exactly. Then 5 minutes learning and actively using maybe 3 new phrases or expressions you picked up. Try putting them into sentences.
Actively using them. Key part.
Crucial. And finally, 5 minutes just listening to something you genuinely enjoy in English. Music, another podcast, Netflix, whatever works for you. Make it fun.
That makes so much sense. It's about that consistency, isn't it? Focused time. Even short bursts like that, done regularly.
Way more effective.
Way more effective than those occasional long, painful study sessions that you just dread doing.
Yep.
Making it a consistent, enjoyable part of your day. That's the game changer.
Absolutely. Enjoyment fuels consistency.
Okay, now let's talk about something huge that underpins all of this. Confidence.
The big one.
Yeah, our deep dive was really clear on this. Confidence isn't something you just wait for to magically appear. It's something you build step by step,
Right.
or maybe brick by brick.
Exactly. I love that analogy. Think of it like adding a brick to your Fluency house each week. You just choose one small, concrete action. Maybe join an online conversation group for one session.
Okay.
Or comment on an English YouTube video. Just a short comment.
Doable.
Or post a tiny story on Instagram in English. Or talk to yourself in English for just 3 minutes.
Even easier.
Or record a quick voice message to a language partner. Each time you do one of these, boom, another brick laid.
I love that visual.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, it really shows how every small action, every single brick, is a real tangible step. It builds that self-assurance. Brick by brick, it becomes a house, your voice in English.
That's a fantastic way to think about it. And it leads perfectly into practical application, right? Using it in everyday situations. Preparing for specific scenarios is such a good way to build that real-world fluency.
Yeah, because it translates directly into confidence when you actually face those situations.
So what are some common ones?
Okay, let's take 3 common situations from our sources with some specific phrases you can practice. First, at the supermarket.
Okay, always useful.
Phrases like, excuse me, where can I find the rice? Notice the emphasis on the important word.
Rice.
Can I pay by card? Or could I get a bag, please? Adding that polite tone.
Got it. Supermarket sorted. Next.
Ordering food, another common one. Hi, can I get the grilled chicken with no sauce? Being specific, can I make that a large? Or do you take contactless?
Practical stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
At the airport. Can be stressful, so being prepared helps. Where's gate 24? Clear and direct. Is the flight on time? Or how much is it to check this bag?
Right. Simple, direct questions.
Exactly.
So the idea is learn these, practice them, but also visualize yourself using them. Feel yourself saying them confidently in that situation.
Yes. And remember the rhythm and emotion we talked about? Where's the stress and, excuse me, where can I find the rice? How does the tone of, could I get a bag, please, convey politeness?
That's where it becomes real communication, not just reciting lines.
Precisely. That's where fluency really kicks in.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's throw down a final fluency challenge for you listening.
Ooh, I like a challenge.
I'm going to ask a few questions.
Yeah.
And the challenge is answer them out loud.
Yeah.
Right now, wherever you are. Don't worry about perfection. Just speak. Ready?
Okay. First question. What did you do yesterday? Pause for a listener.
Huh.
All right. Next. What you usually do at the weekend? Pause for listener. And finally, what's one thing you want to improve in your English? Pause for listener.
Great job if you did that. Just speaking is the goal. And let's reinforce all this with some powerful daily affirmations, mantras if you like, things you can repeat to yourself, maybe during that 20-minute habit.
Good idea.
Try these. I am becoming more fluent every day.
Nice. Positive.
My English is improving because I show up.
Acknowledging the effort.
I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I speak anyway.
Powerful. Overcoming the fear.
So there you have it, a real deep dive today.
Yeah.
We've looked at what fluency really is. It's about flow, connection, not perfection. We covered using rhythm and tone to sound natural, how to practice real conversations, strategies for building confidence brick by brick.
And those simple daily habits for lifelong progress.
Exactly.
And I think the most important takeaway, the absolute core message from this whole deep dive is wonderfully simple, really.
What's that?
The secret to fluency is just showing up, practicing, and speaking. Consistency, even in those small 20-minute chunks, is absolutely king.
Couldn't agree more. So, your challenge for today, listener, building on what we just did, speak English for 5 minutes.
I love
Just 5 minutes about anything. Your day, your plans, what you had for breakfast, your dreams. Just start talking. Because remember, you're not just learning English words and rules. You're learning to connect, to grow, become fluent.
Said.
We're genuinely impressed with the steps you're taking just by listening and engaging. So if you ever felt that intense frustration, where you feel like you understand English perfectly fine when you read it or, hear it.
Yeah, listening seems okay.
But then when it actually comes time to speak, the words just poof, they vanish.
Absolutely. That feeling of, I get it, but I just can't say it.
Exactly. It's such a common hurdle.
Yeah.
And look, if that sounds like you are definitely not alone.
Not at all.
So today we're doing a deep dive specifically into mastering everyday English conversation, getting fluent.
Right.
And this isn't really about, piling up more grammar rules. It's about unlocking your actual voice in English.
Finding that natural way to express yourself.
Yeah, whether you need it for work or travel, study, or just honestly that amazing feeling of really connecting with people.
That connection is key.
All right, so with that challenge clear, our mission today is basically to give you a shortcut, a real path to what real fluency looks and feels like.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack what truly fluent English conversation actually sounds like. And hint, it's not just about speed.
Definitely not just speed. That's a big one.
We'll give you practical strategies, things you can actually do to build your speaking confidence, like from the ground up.
Actionable steps. Good.
And we'll arm you with those key expressions, those natural phrases native speakers use all the time without even thinking.
The building blocks of conversation.
Plus, we're diving into something often overlooked, but honestly super important. Pronunciation, rhythm, intonation.
The musicality of it.
Exactly, the music of English. And yeah, we'll cover opportunities for real practice, including this really powerful technique called shadowing.
Ah, yes, shadowing. Very effective.
By the end of this, you'll have a clear blueprint, actionable habits you can start using, like today.
Making it practical.
Totally. Practical, immersive, powerful, guiding you step by step without all the stress and overthinking.
Sounds great. And what's really fascinating about fluency is just how often it's misunderstood.
Right. Like the speed thing you mentioned.
Exactly. Most people think fluency means speaking really, really fast, like it's some kind of race.
Yeah.
But that's a common misconception. It can actually hold you back.
So what is it then, really?
Well, fluency, at its core, it's about speaking smoothly, confidently, and without lots of unnatural hesitation.
Smoothly and confidently. It's the ability to get your ideas across clearly, to understand others naturally, and maybe the most important part, just keeping a conversation going easily. Like playing catch, back and forth.
Oh, I like that analogy. Not a sprint, but more like a dance.
Exactly. A dance. It's rhythmic, connected, and while grammar. Look, grammar's important. It's the blueprint.
Sure, you need the foundation.
Yes, essential. But true fluency, that comes from using the language dynamically.
Yeah.
In real time, it's about applying patterns intuitively, not just reciting rules.
That makes so much sense. It's the difference between knowing about driving and actually driving.
So if fluency is this smooth, natural flow, what does that actually look like? Can you paint a picture?
Yeah.
Like imagine you walk into your favorite coffee shop
Okay.
and someone you kind of know, haven't seen them in a bit, spots you. They say, really, is it going? Hey, haven't seen you in a while. How have you been?
Right. Simple opening.
And you, just feeling totally calm, confident, you reply, yeah, it's been a minute. I've been good keeping busy. What about you?
Natural response.
That right there, that simple, effortless exchange, that's the heart of it, isn't it?
That's the essence of fluency. It's not about using fancy words or perfect grammar every single time.
It's the rhythm, the connection, the confidence.
Exactly. That smooth, confident, connected feeling.
Which leads us right into the why, doesn't it? Why so many people feel that disconnect. I understand, but I can't speak.
It really does. And the fundamental difference, the thing people often miss, is that listening, well, it's mostly passive. You're taking information in.
Receiving.
But speaking, that's active. Totally active. It demands you process, find the words, and produce them all in real time.
Okay, that's a big shift. Passive to active.
Huge shift. And that's where these common obstacles pop up, like invisible tripwires in conversation.
Okay. Obstacles.
Yeah, we've kind of identified 4 key hurdles that often get in the way of smooth, everyday English conversation.
All right, let's break those down. So navigating this path, the first big stumbling block, I think, for many is thinking in your native language first.
Oh, definitely. The mental translation step.
Yeah. If you're translating every single thing in your head before you say it, you're basically putting a middleman in every conversation.
Adds this huge delay.
It's not just about speed either. It's like your brain is doing double duty, routing everything.
Slows the whole process down.
So the solution,
Yeah.
and it sounds simple, but it's powerful, is to practice thinking directly in English.
Train your brain to default to English.
Exactly. And start really small, tiny internal thoughts, like, I'm hungry, or where are my keys? Maybe. I need to go shopping later.
Narrate your own life, basically.
Yeah, just narrate your internal monologue in English. I remember trying this. Felt a bit weird talking to myself at first,
Sure, it can feel strange.
but it honestly started to rewire how my brain accessed English. It made a difference.
That's the key, rewiring. And if that's the first hurdle, the second one, and this one is huge, maybe the most common, is the fear of making mistakes.
Oh, the perfectionism trap.
Totally. It leads to this kind of paralysis.
Yeah.
You wait for the perfect sentence to magically appear before you dare speak.
Which never happens in real life.
Exactly. Real conversation is organic, it's messy sometimes, it's immediate.
So you need to shift your thinking about mistakes.
You absolutely do. Redefine what a mistake even is. They aren't failures. Think of them as valuable data points, feedback.
Okay, data points for growth. I like that.
Yeah, they show you where you need to adjust. The most important thing is just to speak anyway. Push through the fear.
Like someone said, it's practice, not a performance.
Beautifully put. It's practice.
Okay, so hurdle 1, thinking in native language. Hurdle 2, fear of mistakes. What's number 3?
Building on that, the third obstacle is having limited conversational vocabulary.
Wait, so you mean knowing words but not how to use them when talking?
Precisely. You might know lots of individual words. Maybe you ace vocabulary tests.
Yeah, flashcards are fine.
Right. But stringing them together naturally in a conversation, that's different. It's like having ingredients but no recipe.
Okay, so what's the actionable advice there? The trick?
Learn words in chunks, in phrases, collocations, not just in isolation.
Chunks, like word groups.
Exactly. So instead of just learning the word excited, you learn the whole phrase, I'm super excited about, or I can't wait to.
Oh, I see, like pre-made blocks.
Yeah, like pre-assembled Lego blocks, ready to slot right into your conversation. Native speakers grab these chunks automatically.
That makes sense. It bypasses some of the construction work.
It really does. And finally, the fourth obstacle. It sounds almost too simple, but it's critical.
Okay.
Not enough active speaking practice.
So relying too much on passive stuff. Reading, listening.
Exactly. Reading, listening, grammar drills, they're foundational, absolutely necessary. But fluency requires using your voice, engaging the muscles.
It's physical.
It's a physical skill, like playing piano or learning to swim. You have to do it.
So the clear instruction is,
Speak out loud, actively. This is where techniques like shadowing, which we'll get into more detail on.
right, you mentioned shadowing.
Yeah, they become so powerful because they force that active engagement, building muscle memory for sounds, for flow.
Okay, active practice is non-negotiable. Got it.
Non-negotiable.
All right, theory is great, but let's try putting some of this into practice, like a mini scenario.
Good idea. Make it real.
Imagine you're at, say, a language meetup.
Huh?
You know, could be a bit nerve-wracking, but you're there.
Okay.
Someone walks up to an empty chair next to you and asks, hey, is this seat taken?
Simple opener.
And you reply, no, go ahead. Are you here for the English group?
Okay. Keeping it going.
Then they say, yeah, it's my first time. I'm still a bit nervous, though.
Relatable.
And you, sounding friendly and confident, say, no worries. Everyone's super friendly here. I'm Jake, by the way.
Nice and reassuring.
To which they respond, nice to meet you, Jake. I'm Sarah.
And boom, conversation started.
Exactly. See the goal there? It's relaxed. It's friendly. The rhythm flows. It's not about complex sentences.
It's about connection and ease.
Connection and ease. Love that.
And to get that relaxed, natural flow, knowing some key everyday phrases is, well, absolutely essential.
Oh, the chunks we talked about earlier.
Exactly. These are the phrases native speakers use constantly, almost like conversational reflexes. They keep things smooth.
Okay, give us some examples, like for small talk.
Sure. For small talk, you hear things like, so how's your day going? Or a typical response, can't complain.
Right. Or maybe same old, same old.
Yeah, exactly. Or asking, what have you been up to lately? Very common ways to just get the ball rolling.
Okay, what about in like social situations? Making plans.
Good one. You'll hear stuff like, want to grab a coffee sometime?
Casual invitation.
Totally. And responses like, count me in, or yeah, I'm down for that.
I'm down for that. Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Or simply, let's catch up soon. They signal willingness, make it easy.
And showing interest when someone's telling a story.
Crucial for keeping conversation alive. Things like, oh, really? That's cool. Or showing surprise, no way.
Yeah.
Or maybe empathy. Wow, that must have been tough. Or understanding. I totally get that.
So these aren't just filler. They actually do something.
They're not just polite words. They are the linguistic glue, the discourse markers. They keep the conversation engine running smoothly and, importantly, make you sound authentic, natural.
Like you're really in the conversation.
Exactly. And stepping back a bit, this connects to a broader point about fluency. It really comes from rhythm, not just raw speed.
Okay, rhythm over speed. Tell me more about that.
No, English is what linguists call a stress-timed language.
Stress time.
Yeah, unlike, say, Spanish or French, which are more syllable-timed, where each syllable gets roughly equal time.
But
In English, some words get stressed, they're strong, they carry the beat, while others are weak, unstressed, almost swallowed.
like a drum beat in the sentence.
And the perfect way to think about it, like, listen, I want to go to the cinema tonight, here are the peaks.
Yeah. Wanna go cinema night?
Right? Or do you want to grab a coffee sometime?
Down, grab coffee sometime. Okay, I hear it. That up and down.
That is the rhythm. And honestly, that rhythm is often what makes you sound natural, maybe even more than perfect grammar or a massive vocabulary.
Wow, so it's not just what you say, but how you say it. The music.
It's fundamentally about the music, the prosody.
Okay, this is fascinating. Now, how do we translate this into something really practical? You mentioned shadowing before.
Yes, let's talk shadowing. This technique is, well, it can be a game changer for a lot of learners.
Why is it so effective?
Because it's a direct way to build fluency fast. It helps imprint that natural rhythm, the intonation, the stress patterns directly onto your brain and even your speech muscles.
Okay, imprinting the music, how does it work?
The process is pretty simple. You listen to a short piece of audio, like a podcast clip, maybe a bit from a YouTube video.
Right.
And then you repeat what you hear while you're listening, but with just a tiny delay. Like you're the speaker's shadow.
Ah, okay. So not waiting until they finish, but talking almost along with them.
Exactly. You're aiming to mimic everything, not just the words, but the pitch changes, the pauses, the rhythm, the sound of the language.
Mimicking the sound. Got it. Can we try a quick example?
Let's do it. Imagine you're shadowing this little story. I'll read it naturally. Last weekend, I went to a local food festival with a friend. The weather was perfect sunny, not too hot. We tried food from all over the world, Thai noodles, Spanish paella, even Ethiopian coffee. It was amazing. We ended the day by sitting on the grass, listening to live music. It felt like a mini vacation.
Okay, so I'd be trying to say that right along with you, copying the ups and downs.
Precisely, copying the music. And the big takeaway here, the real power, comes from consistency.
Daily practice.
Yes, even just 10 minutes of focused shadowing every day. It leads to significant, sometimes almost unconscious, improvements in your speaking flow and naturalness.
10 minutes a day to sound more natural. Seems doable.
Very doable, and it builds that rhythm almost automatically.
This all links back to confidence too, doesn't it? Because sounding more natural probably feels more confident.
It absolutely does. And that brings up a crucial point about confidence itself, which often feels like the biggest wall for learners.
Yeah, the I'm too nervous to speak feeling.
Right. But here's the paradox, and it's a really powerful insight.
Okay.
Confidence doesn't come before speaking. It doesn't magically appear so you can speak. It actually comes from the act of speaking.
Whoa, okay. So you don't wait for confidence, you build it by speaking.
Exactly. You build confidence by doing the very thing that makes you nervous. You accumulate small successes, small wins.
Like building a muscle. You don't get strong thinking about lifting weights.
You get strong by lifting them. Same principle applies here. Action builds confidence.
Okay, that's empowering. So how do we translate that into daily actions, things people can start doing like right now?
Great question. Let's make it super practical. Here are 3 daily confidence boosters you can start immediately.
Lay them on us.
First, speak for just 5 minutes every single day, even if you're totally alone.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah. Talk about your day, your plans, your dreams, what you had for breakfast. Doesn't matter. Just get the words out, get your mouth moving, your tongue working, engage those speech muscles.
Okay, 5 minutes of talking aloud daily. Number 2.
Second, record yourself speaking. Now, I know this might feel a bit weird at first.
Yeah, hearing your own voice can be kind of cringy.
It can be, but it is so incredibly valuable. Listening back helps you notice things, pronunciation hiccups, awkward pauses that you might miss otherwise.
So it's like objective feedback.
Exactly. You hear what needs work, but you also start to hear your progress over time, which is hugely motivating.
Okay, record yourself. Makes sense. And number 3.
Third, celebrate the small wins. Seriously, actively acknowledge your progress.
What counts as a small win?
Anything. Did you manage to answer a phone call in English today? Did you order food without pointing? Did you understand a joke?
Ah, okay. Little victories.
Yes. Acknowledge them, appreciate them, pat yourself on the back. That positive reinforcement is fuel for keeping going. It builds momentum.
Speak daily, record yourself, celebrate wins. Got it. Simple but powerful.
And to really lock this in, to build a lasting habit of fluency, let's sketch out a simple daily routine.
A fluency workout plan.
Kind of. A 15 to 30-minute routine could look like this. Start with 5 minutes of shadowing, pick a short podcast clip, a YouTube video snippet, really focus on mimicking the sound, the rhythm.
Okay, 5 minutes shadowing.
Then dedicate 10 minutes to speaking freely. Just talk. Pick a topic, journal out loud, describe your room, talk about your future plans. No pressure, just flow.
10 minutes free speaking.
Next, spend 5 minutes learning, say, 3 new phrases, those chunks we talked about. And don't just learn them, actively try to use them in sentences right away.
Okay, 5 minutes on new chunks.
Follow that with 5 minutes to either record yourself doing some of that free speaking or listen back to a recording from yesterday. Get that feedback loop going.
5 minutes review record.
And finally, maybe dedicate 5 minutes just to enjoyable listening. Native content you like, music, Netflix, a TED Talk. Connect with the language for fun. Keep it fresh.
So shadowing, free speak, new phrases, review, fun listening.
Yeah.
15, 30 minutes total.
Exactly. And if you commit to that consistently,
Yeah.
even just 5 days a week, you will genuinely transform your speaking ability. We're talking noticeable change in 3 to 6 months.
That's a powerful promise. Consistency is key.
It's all about building that consistent routine, not trying to cram everything in occasionally.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. So let's try and wrap this up. What are the absolute core takeaways from this deep dive?
Let's summarize.
First, I say remember, fluency is about that smooth, natural flow, connection. It's definitely not about speed.
Absolutely. And number 2, use real-life phrases, those natural chunks. Don't try to build sentences word by painful word from isolated vocabulary.
Got it. Chunks over single words. And third, we really highlighted shadowing, didn't we? As a super effective tool for building that natural sound and rhythm.
One of the best tools out there. Because, fourth point, rhythm and pronunciation, that musicality, are just key to sounding natural. Often more important than perfect grammar.
The music matters. And fifth, the absolute baseline. You have to practice speaking out loud, even if you're alone. It's the active part.
Can't skip that step. And finally, maybe the most important mindset piece. Mistakes are okay. They are necessary. They are part of the journey.
Don't let them stop you.
Never. Embrace them as learning chances. And just keep speaking.
Ultimately, the goal isn't to sound like a textbook, right? Or
Yeah.
like some random native speaker you admire.
Not at all.
The goal is to sound like you, speaking confidently, naturally in English, expressing your thoughts, your personality.
Beautifully said. That's the real aim. And remember this, your fluency. It's not some far-off, impossible dream. It's a skill, like learning anything else.
A skill you build.
Exactly. And with consistent daily effort, you will get there, I promise you.
That's, that moment, right? You're in an English conversation. Maybe someone asks, so, what do you do? Or you have something brilliant you want to say, and then just nothing. Your mind goes blank. The words, they just don't come out right. If you've ever felt that really frustrating pause, well, you are definitely not alone. So today we're diving deep into exactly how to, banish those awkward silences.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mission in this deep dive really is to give you a shortcut, a way to master everyday English conversations. We want to help you sound more fluent and, crucially, speak with real confidence.
And we've pulled the key ideas, the best insights from mastering everyday English conversation and fluency. We've distilled the most important nuggets specifically for you listening.
So what can you expect today? Well, first, we're going to unpack why English conversations often feel so difficult. It's not just you. Then we'll jump into how to respond naturally, in small talk situations. We'll discover those essential phrases and expressions that native speakers actually use, not textbook stuff. We'll also look at common mistakes to sort of gracefully avoid. And yeah, we'll even give you real sample dialogues you can practice with. So this is really packed with value. Get ready.
Okay, so let's unpack this core challenge first. Many of us, right, we spend hours and hours studying English, poring over grammar books, memorizing vocabulary lists. But even with all that effort, why do conversations still feel like such a massive hurdle? Our sources reveal a crucial insight that might surprise you.
Right. The common belief, the one we're often taught, is that if you just learn enough vocabulary and enough grammar, fluency will just happen, magically follow. But what this deep dive really shows, and it's fascinating, is how the brain actually acquires language. It's not simply about collecting words like stamps or something, it's about connecting them. Our sources show that learners who focus purely on grammar rules, they often hit a wall, and it's not because they lack knowledge exactly. It's because their brains haven't built the neural pathways for instant natural phrasing.
Neural pathways.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. So it's less about building a wall brick by individual brick, and more about having like prefabricated sections ready to go, almost like Lego bricks of language.
Precisely. That's a great analogy, because real conversations, they're fast, they're unpredictable, people interrupt, they use slang, they mumble sometimes, and yeah, it can feel like they're speaking in code. So if you've ever felt confident studying, but then totally nervous speaking, that's completely normal. It's because your brain is trying to build those walls from individual bricks, in real time, under pressure. The real solution, the key, is learning how to think in English, how to react quickly, and how to use these natural phrases and chunks of language, what linguists often call collocations.
Collocations. Okay, can you give us a quick example just to make that crystal clear?
Okay.
Because I think that's where it gets really, really interesting for you, the listener.
Absolutely. Think of it like this. You make a decision, right? You don't do a decision. That natural pairing, make a decision, that is a collocation. Or we say, heavy rain, not usually strong rain. When you learn these whole phrases as a single unit, your brain doesn't have to translate word by word from your native language.
Yeah.
Imagine someone comes up and says, hey, long time no see. What have you been up to? Now, if you try to translate that word by word, oh boy, you might get completely lost. But if you learn long time no see, what have you been up to as one chunk, you'll recognize it instantly and you'll have a better idea how to respond naturally. That's the power we're trying to tap into.
That makes so much sense. It's like having a phrase book inside your head, but one that's actually useful for, normal everyday chat, not just asking where the train station is. So how does this actually look in like a real situation? Let's picture a scenario we've all probably been in. Meeting someone, maybe just striking up a conversation at a coffee shop. Okay, here's a quick mini dialogue for you to listen to. Hey, mind if I sit here? B, oh, not at all, go ahead. A, thanks. Wow, it's super busy today, huh? B, yeah, tell me about it. I barely found a seat myself. A, so do you come here often? B, now and then. They've got pretty good coffee and the Wi-Fi's fast. You? First time, actually. A friend recommended it.
Okay, see, that's a simple, pretty natural exchange, but it's absolutely packed with useful phrases like, mind if I sit here? That's just a very natural and polite way to ask permission. And the response, not at all. Go ahead. It sounds friendly, welcoming.
Yeah, and my favorite in that one is, tell me about it. I remember I used to try and build some really complicated sentence to show I agreed, but that phrase is just so easy and common.
Exactly. Tell me about it is such a casual way to strongly agree. It's like saying, yep, I completely understand and feel the same way. And now and then, just a simple way to say, sometimes. When you hear that dialogue, what's maybe one phrase that jumps out to you as being a real game changer for learners?
Good question. I think maybe just the ease of mind if I sit here. It's such a common situation, right?
Yeah.
Finding a seat and knowing that simple, natural phrase, it just unlocks things. It feels less like you're following a grammar rule and more like you just have the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And that feeling, that sense of flow and rhythm, that's key to the secret that fluent speakers use, which is they don't translate in their heads, or at least they do it much, much less. Instead of thinking in your native language and then trying to convert it word by word into English, the goal is to practice these chunks, these collocations, and also connectors, so you can just pull them out instantly when you need them.
Absolutely. It's like having this toolkit ready to go. And that means you're not scrambling for individual words under pressure, which is usually where things fall apart. So what are some of those essential categories of phrases we should be adding to our mental toolkit?
Right. We're talking about building up a useful repertoire, things you can grab quickly. So think about conversation starters. Instead of freezing up, trying to invent something, you can instantly use something like, so what brings you here today? Or how do you know this place, this person? Or even a simple direct, hi, I don't think we've met before. I'm your name.
Yeah, those are great. And then for agreeing naturally, you don't always need some long formal phrase, just a quick totally, or yeah, I couldn't agree more, or simply exactly.
Yeah.
The shot. Simple, but they sound incredibly natural in conversation.
And another really useful category is phrases for buying time. You know, when you need a second to think. Instead of just silence, which can feel awkward, you can use things like, that's a good question. Or, okay, let me think for a second. Or even, well, you know, it depends. What's brilliant about these is they don't just fill the gap. They actually signal to the other person, hey, I heard you. I'm engaged. I'm thinking about it.
And that's where the rhythm comes back in, isn't it? It's not just knowing the words on a list, but practicing them so they flow naturally. It's about building that kind of muscle memory for language so you can recall them quickly and confidently. Okay, so let's broaden things out a bit. Let's expand our conversational horizons. We've identified 5 really common conversation topics that, let's face it, come up almost daily. And we'll give you some practical phrases for each one. First up, hobbies. A super common question is, so what do you like to do, in your free time? And a natural response could be something like, oh, I'm really into photography these days. What about you?
Yeah, and that key phrase there, I'm really into, it just means I like it a lot, or I'm very interested in it. And a good tip, don't just state your hobby and stop. Maybe briefly mention why you like it or a recent experience. Keeps the conversation rolling.
Good point. Ask back.
Always ask back.
Okay, next topic. Work or study. Very common. Someone asks, what do you do? Or maybe, what do you do for a living? You can say, oh, I work as a software engineer. And you. Simple. Or if you're a student, I'm currently studying economics. Or whatever it is. These basic frames. I work as a, and I'm currently studying. Oh, you're your foundation here.
Then there's travel. People love talking about travel. The question, have you done any traveling lately or been anywhere interesting recently? That can lead to responses like, yeah, actually, I went to Scotland last month. It was amazing. And when you describe your travels, you can use simple, strong adjectives. It was breathtaking. It was so relaxing. Or even just, it was totally worth it. And again, ask questions back. Have you been? Any recommendations?
Definitely. And topic 4, food. Who doesn't enjoy talking about food? Maybe someone asks, are you more of a sweet person or a savory person? You might reply, oh, definitely savory. I mean, I can't resist pizza. That phrase, I can't resist, it means you love it too much, you find it irresistible. And again, maybe add a detail, especially pepperoni. It sparks more chat.
Exactly. And finally, number 5, TV and books. Always a safe bet for small talk. A great starter is, have you seen any good shows recently? Or watching anything interesting? And you can respond with, oh yeah, I just finished this thing on Netflix. It's called The Night Agent. Have you seen it? So good. Simple phrases. Have you seen? Care. I just finished. It's called.
Yeah.
Very common, very useful. Same for books. Read anything good lately? I just started. Any recommendations?
Okay, so as you're going out there using these phrases, trying things out, it's really important to remember everyone makes mistakes. It is absolutely part of learning anything new, especially language. But let's look at maybe 5 common slip-ups that English learners sometimes make and how you can tweak things just slightly for more natural interactions. First one, using slightly unnatural or maybe overly formal phrases like always saying, I am fine, thank you.
Oh yeah, the classic textbook response. It's polite, but a bit stiff for everyday chat. Instead, you could try something like, I'm doing great, thanks, or just, not bad, how about you? Or even just, pretty good, you. Much more natural. Okay, second mistake, forgetting to ask back. This is a big one. Don't just answer questions about yourself and then silence me. Well, what about you? Or, and you, your absolute best friend. It keeps the conversation alive, it shows interest, it's crucial. Third one, not reacting enough. Sort of passive listening. You want to show you're engaged. Use little words and sounds like, really? No way. Wow, that sounds fun. Or even just, okay, huh. These little interjections, they make a huge difference in how connected you seem in the conversation.
Definitely. Okay, the 4th pitfall. Sometimes speaking too formally in casual situations. Like, you probably wouldn't walk into a coffee shop and say, I would like to inquire about the availability of a flat white. Just, opt for simpler phrases. Can I get a flat white? Or could I ask about, or maybe, do you know if, it's really about matching your language to the situation, the context. That's what makes you sound natural.
Exactly. Context is key. And finally, maybe the biggest one of all, the fear of making mistakes. It's so common for learners to feel almost paralyzed by this worry about not being perfect, saying the wrong thing. But honestly, fluency isn't about perfection. Nobody speaks perfectly, not even native speakers. It's really about confidence plus practice, getting your message across, connecting. What's crucial to remember here is that mistakes are just, they're stepping stones. They show you're trying. Embrace them. They're totally part of the process.
So well said. Okay, now let's try and put it all together. We've got a full natural dialogue for you now that kind of ties together many of these ideas we've discussed. Imagine this scenario. It's a conversation maybe right after a language class is finished.
Okay, here it is. A. Hey, wow, I really liked today's lesson. What did you think? B. Yeah, me too. It was great. I think I finally understood the past perfect. A. Oh, same here. Yeah, the teacher explained it so well, didn't she? B. Totally. Hey, by the way, do you want to maybe grab a coffee sometime this week? A. Oh, yeah, sure. That sounds nice. There's that little cafe just around the corner, isn't there?
C. Just real simple, everyday kind of conversation. Uses agreement, suggests something, asks questions. Now, to really internalize the rhythm and the flow of natural English like that, you can try a technique called shadowing. Have you heard of this?
Shadowing, yeah, it's super effective. It basically just means repeating what you hear, either almost at the same time or maybe just a fraction of a second behind. The key is you try to mimic the speaker's intonation, their speed, their rhythm, everything. So if you take that dialogue we just heard and you repeat it, maybe slowly at first, with pauses, it really helps embed those natural speech patterns deep in your brain. It's a surprisingly powerful practice.
Okay, so to really make sure all this sticks and to help you keep making progress, here's what we're calling your Fluency Toolkit. These are concrete, actionable tips you can start using, like today, for consistent practice.
Right. First off, as we just mentioned, regularly practice shadowing. Find audio you like, maybe this deep dive, then mimic it. Then number 2, listen daily. Immerse yourself. Podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos, music, whatever you enjoy in English. Find content you're genuinely interested in and just let the language wash over you. Absorb the sounds, the rhythm.
And don't forget about writing. It might seem counterintuitive for speaking, but it really helps organize your thoughts in English. Practice by writing short conversations, maybe like the dialogues we used, or even just little diary entries or notes. And of course, most importantly, speak. You have to actually use the language, engage with a language partner, find a tutor, talk to yourself if you have to, even just for 5 minutes a day. That active production, that's where the real magic happens.
Totally agree. And one more powerful tool, record yourself speaking. I know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice.
But listen back. You'll be amazed at what you notice, pronunciation things, grammar habits, pauses. It's fantastic for self-correction and tracking your improvement because remember, the true definition of fluency, what we're aiming for here, it isn't about knowing every single word in the dictionary. It's not about speaking super fast either. It's really about confidence. It's about rhythm, and it's about making real connections with people. The goal is simply to speak naturally, confidently, and clearly. And these tools will definitely help you get there.
Absolutely. Well, we really hope you've learned something valuable today, and maybe, just maybe, you're feeling a little bit more confident about jumping into those real English conversations. If you found this deep dive helpful, please think about sharing it with a friend who's also learning English. Learning together, discussing it, that often makes understanding even stronger. Yeah, definitely. And maybe leave you with this final thought. The more you practice speaking, the easier it genuinely gets. It sounds simple, but it's true. Consistency, even small amounts regularly, truly is the secret ingredient. So keep that curiosity alive, stay confident in your journey, and just keep speaking English whenever you can.